So I'm back again to talk more about my surgery, the actual surgery. The last two videos I talked about what I had to go through before doing the surgery, and the video before this was what I packed for the hospital. So now I'm going to go straight into the day I checked in. So I went to the hospital on January 22nd. You're supposed to check in 2 days before, or a day and a half before. I actually had class in the morning and I went straight from class. I had packed all my things the night before. I was ready. I got my bags. I jumped on the bus, and then I switched and jumped on another bus, and I made my way to the hospital. So I took myself to the hospital with all the bags I needed. I got there around 11 o'clock. You're supposed to check in at around 11 or 12. I met my guarantor. So this is very important. This is one of the reasons why the doctors didn't really, the first doctor, my personal doctor in Kainan, didn't want me to have surgery. He said that I needed support. And another big issue was I also needed a guarantor. Now, I think this is the same even if you're Japanese, but if you're a foreigner, you definitely need a guarantor. And a guarantor is someone who if you die or if something happens, if you can't pay, they will be the person in charge of paying for you, as the name suggests. So my guarantor is actually my part-time boss. I have a very close relationship with my part-time bosses. I love them beyond words, and I tell you, they were my saviors throughout this whole thing. My mother did not want me to have surgery. I was scared to have surgery and just not know Japanese and be by myself, but I really wanted to do it. And my mother became more comfortable once she knew that my guarantors, my part-time bosses would take care of me, because they're like my family here. And so when I got to the hospital, I met with Papa-san. That's his name. That's the name we call him. That's what I refer to him as. I met with him. He was exactly on time as I was. We signed in, and that's when I gave in my health insurance card. I registered. Now, before that, I was actually given the hospital packet, which had details about the hospital. And as you saw from the previous video, it had what I needed. And so checking in was easy. That's when they put my wristband on me, and that's what they would use to identify me for my entire 10-day hospital stay. They'd scan me, and any test that they need to be done, scan first and then do the test, and that would store all my information. So checking in was very fast. This is Japan after all. I think it took about 10 minutes. We then went to, I think it was the 6th floor? I don't even remember. We went to the 6th floor, and that's when we were told we'd have to wait about 2 hours before we could go on the hospital ward. So we just hung out, we chatted, we went to lunch, and then it was finally time to go on the ward. The nurses call each individual patient. They showed us around the ward. They showed me where the shower area was, how to register to take a shower, because you actually have to select a time slot to use the shower since it's communal. They took me to my hospital room, which I was sharing with 4 other people. Now, as I said, I think I mentioned it before, I decided to share with 4 other people because under the health insurance program, it would be free of cost. The hospital room would be free of cost. If I had gotten a private room, that would have been like 30,000 yen per night. So I was like, nah, give me the free room with 4 other people. And that was no issue at all. But everywhere was communal living, communal shared quarters. The shower area, the bathrooms, everything else was shared. But it wasn't bad at all. Everything was so clean. Japanese hospitals are immaculately clean. And while I was there, I actually watched a nurse, not a nurse, a custodian, clean everything. When someone checked out, they just thoroughly cleaned everything. I was like amazed. So I had no problem with that. I checked in, and then I had to wait to meet my main doctor, the doctor who was doing 2 surgeries for me, the myomectomy, abdominal myomectomy, and the hysteroscope. I can't pronounce it. Hysteroscopic hysteropic surgery. So the abdominal myomectomy is where they make an incision in my abdomen, an 8 to 10 centimeter incision, and that's how they remove the largest fibroids. And then the okay, wait a second, let me get the damn pronunciation for this. Hysteroscopic surgery. That's the one where they went up my uterus with a camera and did exploratory surgery to remove. And I met with that doctor and a translator, very nice woman from Argentina. Her son is actually married to one of the doctors in the hospital, so I don't know where they dug her up from. They were just like, come and help us, we have a foreigner. And she came and she explained everything. She translated everything for me perfectly. Papa San was actually in the room because he's my guarantor and he had to be there to sign things too, and he was explaining things to me too. And I told Papa San, I was like, Papa San, you should work with the hospital as a translator because you're really good at it. And he very shyly said, no. But it was a little awkward because some of the things they were explaining was, very personal details about my wuha and recovery and what would happen. But he was cool with it. That's why I love my Papa San. So a guarantor Papa San was in the room with me, the translator and the doctor, and they went through the two main surgeries. Now, during that time, I don't want to show my information. How do I hide this? Let's try and hide my information. There we go. So during that time, I got detailed pictures of what the surgery would be. This is the hysteroscopic one. And they explained the side effects, complications, and all of it was in Japanese, as you can see. Some of it, the main details were in English. The headline for what the what's it called? Anyways, so that was a hysteroscopic one, and this is the abdominal myomectomy one. And so all of that was explained, and then I had to sign my life away. I had to sign and say, yes, go ahead with the surgery. I don't care about the complications. Just do it. So I had to meet with that doctor, and then I had to meet with the hernia doctor, because like I mentioned, I had fibroids and a hernia, which was like a rupture in my abdominal wall that had my intestines popping out through my, trying to pop out through my belly button. The only thing holding them back was skin. The muscle was gone. So he explained that one with detailed diagram too. A really simple surgery where they just made an incision in my belly button, just around the belly button, and then put like something like this thing to plug it to stop the intestines from trying to penetrate through the umbilical. So I had to meet with him and have that explained, and then sign my life away for that too. And then I had to meet with the anesthesiologist, who explained the what they had to do. They had to, they tried to explain. I was like, okay, no problem, sign my life away. I just kept signing my life away. After that, Papa San left, and I was basically just alone in the hospital for the next couple of days, getting detailed instructions, just relaxing, hanging out, eating the glorious hospital food, which I loved so much. But I'll talk about that in another video because this one is already too long. So that was the first half day. The next day was a major day. That was when I had to meet with the doctor to do a final ultrasound. And I also got more instructions about the surgery and what to do, what time I had to stop eating, when was the last time I'd be able to drink water, and everything for the surgery on the 24th. So the worst part about the 23rd, that the night before surgery, was I had to dilate my cervix so they could do the hysteroscopic surgery, and that was an absolutely horrible experience. What they do is they kind of stretch my cervix, the opening of my cervix, with this little rod, and that keeps it open, and it was so painful. I think that was one of the, I don't know, I thought the examination before, the hysteroscopy that I had to do before surgery, was bad. This was far worse. The pain subsided after, but it was really intense, terrible cramping and pain. But I got through that. And the night before surgery, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't nervous. I was just so excited to finally get the fibroids out of me that I did not care. So I woke up the next morning kind of excited. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I think I actually watched the sunrise because I was like, this might be the last sunrise I see. So even though I was excited, I was like, this might be the last sunrise I see. So I watched the sunrise. Or did I watch? And I watched the sunset the day before. I'm so dramatic. And then I called. No, I had to get an enema, bright and early, and I had to do blood tests. Those weren't great. Those weren't great at all. After that, I called my mother and my father, and I spoke to them, and they were just incredibly nervous and scared out of their minds. But I tried to calm them down. I'm the one having surgery, but I tried to calm them down. And I told them, don't worry. That was me, telling them goodbye just in case. I spoke to my family members. Papa San and Mama San came in the morning. Mama San is Papa San's wife, my other part-time boss. They came in the morning and they were there with me, and we were hanging out and talking. And then things just started to progress so quickly. They came in, they gave me the hospital gown. I was like, okay, cool. Okay, so this is me in my hospital gown. I just got my socks for circulation. So I think I'm ready. I'm almost ready. But I won't be able to vlog after this because I have visitors and everything. So I'm a little nervous. I don't want any pain, but I'll be fine. This gown is cute. That's my bed. Okay. And then a few seconds later, they came in again, and I was like, okay, so it's time. And they're like, yeah, it's time. And I was like, woo! It's time. So I wasn't nervous. I was kind of excited, but like my parents were scared. Mama and Papa San, they were trying to be strong, but I could see they were scared too. And I remember the two doctors, the nurse, when you check into the hospital, I forgot to mention this, when you check into the hospital after you sign your life away, you're actually given a nurse, your own personal nurse, for the time that you'll be in there. So I got my name, my nurse, and her information. She came in with me. And before that, they were taking my vitals like 3 times a day. And they were taking my vitals 3-4 times a day, checking to make sure I was okay. So pre-check and then after check, just to confirm everything is good. So that same nurse was doing it. Wonderful, sweet nurse. I love her to pieces. Her English was so. It was good enough to communicate with me, and she was so much fun. Nurse Khan, I love you. So she came in to take me to surgery. Another doctor came in, not my doctor, but another doctor, his assistant came in. And Mama and Papa San left me at the elevator, and I was like waving to them. I was like, I hope this isn't the last time I see you guys. And then I went to the surgery ward, and it was so surreal. I got the little cap you put over your head, and they checked if I had any earrings or anything. And then I went into the surgery room, and I was like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. And I lay down I remember laying down. I remember everything up until the surgery. They gave me the anesthesia. And I lay down on the thing, and I was really excited. I was looking around. They took off my glasses, so then I went blind. I couldn't see anything. They were talking to me. They confirmed that I'm the person. They confirmed with me that I know I'm doing the surgery. And then they were ready. They gave me a, what's it called? What's it called? That thing they give pregnant women when they numb your spine. I don't remember the name right now. I'll put it there. They injected me in my spine with that, and then they were testing me to see if I went numb, and I didn't feel any difference. I was like, okay, same. But eventually it got number. I was like, okay, number. And then they were ready. They gave me the other injection. I don't know what it's called. anesthesia, whatever. And I said a little prayer, and then I was like, that thing worked so quickly. And I just remember my hand feeling warm, and then I was out. I was out. That was at 11 o'clock, because I checked the time. It was at 11 o'clock, almost, or 5 minutes to 11. And when I woke up, I wasn't too groggy. I woke up around 4:45. I remember this because they woke me up. They're like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Mm-hmm." They took me back to my hospital room. And I remember Papa San was there. Mama San had to go back to work because she was running the office when Papa San was there the whole day waiting for me. And he was trying to call my parents so he could tell them, but he was having a little trouble. So I actually dialed the phone to call my parents, and I remember saying, "Hi, Mommy, I'm okay." And I gave it back to Papa San, and then I passed out. Not passed out, but I said bye to Papa San, and then I went to sleep. And after that, it was fine. The surgery was fine. I wasn't in any pain because I was under lots of painkillers. I had the IV in. I was trying not to squeeze that. And for the first 24 hours, I was just basically on my back the whole time. I kind of had a fever. I kind of had a fever. I had a fever after the surgery, so it was really, really hot. The nurses kept checking my vitals like every half an hour. They kept coming into the room and waking me up, but that's good. And I remember at one point in the night I pressed the button for nurses assistance because I was feeling very, very hot. I was feeling super hot because of the fever, and they gave me an ice pack, and that kind of worked. Sleeping I was drifting in and out of sleep, but that was kind of difficult because on my legs, I'll show you a picture. On my legs to prevent pulmonary embolisms and to circulate blood from around your body, especially legs, since I'm just on my back for 24 hours. They put these, they're like shoes. They're like plastic shoes, boots that go up to your knees, and they actually exflate. They get big, they inflate, and then push, inflate, push. So they're circulating blood around your legs because you're immobile for 24 hours. But it kept inflating every 5 minutes. So that was a little annoying. But I was heavily medicated and didn't remember much other than having a fever, the noise that the inflation of the boots made, and just sleeping. Yeah. So that was the surgery. It was really excited. I survived. So when I woke up, I was like, thank you, God. But leading up to it wasn't bad at all. And I remember the worst part of it was the cervical dilation. That was terrible. And the 2 days following, because I had a fever and I was sweating, I just felt uncomfortable. And what else? I couldn't shower. I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck. I couldn't really move on my side. I was just stuck in one position. So the immobility that was most frustrating, and that was for 2 days. On the third day, I felt much better. But I'll talk about the rest of my recovery after. I just wanted to talk about actually checking into the hospital, how easy it was because of the Japanese healthcare system, and the fact that you need a guarantor if you're doing major surgery here. Or maybe that's just for Wakayama. No, I'm pretty sure you need a guarantor no matter what. Maybe it can be a close friend who's Japanese. It has to be a Japanese person, I think. It can be a close friend who's a Japanese person, or maybe someone from your office. But that's who I went with. And I just wanted to highlight how amazing the nurses were, how great the doctors were, and how much effort they put into explaining everything to me before the surgery. How clean the hospital was. I mean, like, hats off to the people who maintain the cleanliness of the hospital. And it was a great experience. The time leading, the whole experience, but especially leading up to the surgery, where I felt comfortable enough to know I will survive. I wasn't scared at all. I was more excited. So I'll continue with another video about recovery, but I have to end this one here because it's way too long. So I hope this helps anyone who especially is considering doing a myomectomy or what is the name of that thing? Hysteroscopic surgery. It's not and yeah, hysteroscopic surgery. And if it helps you, give you an idea of the procedures before, then that's great. And if this video helps you to understand checking into a hospital, great. And I'll just continue making more videos about my experience for you and for my own memories. So that's it for now. Till next time. Bye.